One thing that I absolutely dislike about working in the creative field is that you often meet people that think they are too cool to be nice. Like you go to all these events and you're meeting photographers, you're meeting designers, you're meeting stylists, and you're meeting all these, you know, quite reputable people in the industry. And when you go up to them and just say simple hello, you really just get this like sense of, oh, wait, you're not anyone that I can use to climb my social ladder, so I'm just going to give you a very bland interaction. Like I don't understand why people feel, I don't know, embarrassed to be nice. Like, is that where we are now? Let's just collectively remind ourselves that no matter how important you think you are, you're not so important that you can't be nice to everyone.
I came to the conclusion that people were just broke. And like I said, I gave you my reasons, but I wanted to like kind of break it down into why are people in the creative entertainment fashion industry, they're not very nice people. And I feel like I've done a little bit of research on this and I have a little bit of a bird's eye view on this because I have pursued many different routes within creative entertainment and fashion. So I always seen this pattern of this like competitive, really like snobby behavior. And it was brought to my attention, honestly, from TikTok. If you don't follow me on TikTok, go follow me on TikTok. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I asked ChatGPT, like, why are people in the industry so mean? Like, the connotation around Anna Wintour, the devil wears Prada. So we're gonna see what ChatGPT had to say, but also like I just want to elaborate on what I have gained a sense of in a pattern in this behavior and what it really stems from. So yeah. I don't know if it's giving classes or not, but these aren't designer. These are just literally my sister's glasses. Yeah. So when I worked in fashion really heavy when I was younger, going through that intern stage, you know, you were taught you were supposed to be running to get coffee, like really kissing ass, you know, doing the dirty work that they don't want to do, especially working in fashion. I think that right off the bat, you realize that your passion is literally what is going to take you more further than focusing on the money. But it's hard not to focus on the money when a part of working in fashion is looking good and being fashionable. That's why you see a lot of people that probably work in fashion probably dress really like off and they're not really into like being in the front of the camera because they work behind the scenes. So you have those people, those people kind of are weird too. But this video on TikTok, I'm gonna drop this video in. He was basically saying like, are people in the creative industry too cool to be nice? Like, and people were all in the comments like, suck it up. That's just the industry. That's the power of networking. It's called putting yourself out there. But it's like, why are y'all so angry? I've always come to the conclusion that these people are miserable because they're not making any money. They're working in a high stress environment. They're competitive, secretly competitive. Everybody wants to be a Nepo baby. Everybody who has branded themselves as a Nepo baby and making no money, they're probably the meanest people, like silently. Because I'm telling you, you will be surprised with the women and the girls who carry Balenciaga city bags and really don't have it. Like, or they're in the latest of the latest. But then you have your people who do come from money, who are cocky just in general. And then you have your people who kind of like cross over into working into like that marketing where you can make a lot of bread. Because fashion, don't get me wrong, there's no money involved in fashion in 90% of the grand scheme. But if you like work as an editor, there's a lot of perks. And I think, like I said in my video, I think that is what the fashion industry think is a monetary gain, is the perks, the trips, the endorsements, the free product, the access to events. Like, there's really no money in the fashion. Is that why people like have such an attitude? It's because they're fucking broke. So when I was trying to be a stylist, you know, depending on who I was reaching out to different showrooms for, like you would get a different reaction. Like you're literally tailoring the message to the sender, to the receiver, how you want them to react to the message, because it's like you need to let them know what you're doing, who's using it. And when they would get a certain name across, it's crazy to see how opposite they act for certain brands and certain people. Like my biggest client, ASOS, this is when I was like 21, they literally told me I can pick out whatever I wanted on the website. Like, that's crazy. You know, I ran that shit up. I probably spent like 4K. So I get the package and they fucking literally sent me twice. So you know what? Because I was working for this person for free, I literally took that package, pawned all of it. Like I took it to like Buffalo Exchange, like one of those places, got me like a quick $400 and used that to pay for my plane ticket to go style this person. Which is crazy because it's like, looking back, it's like, that's insane. So would you be in the best mood if that was like what's going on the back end? People are like really hustling just to say that they worked or had some type of brand association for their own good. And I thought, you know, that was the way to like climb the ladder. And I'm like, now that I'm not so heavy into the fashion industry and looking from the outside in, a lot of those people that were my peers or colleagues at that time, they're just now, 7 years later, getting to where they want to be. So could you imagine the type of networking and competitive things that they have been going through for the last 6 or 7 years? Yeah. So it's a competitive industry. Let's see what ChatGPT had to say. Because, you know, I came to the conclusion that people were just broke. And like I said, I gave you my reasons, but I wanted to like kind of break it down into a more understandable way. It says here, competitive environment, fast-paced nature, high standards and expectations. A lot of these people, they're like weirdo popular girls. You know, popular girls were mean and it was like genuine. But I feel like with the creative aspect and everybody's like competing to stand out and be the most innovative, it's like, oh, like, let me peep what you got going on. So if you are associated with Luca Sabin or, you know, Virgil Abloh, then of course you get more brownie points than someone, you know, I don't know. Everybody is moving strategically. So that's probably another key reason too. But also, I want to even like piggyback onto the corporate culture. Like even like the fashion industry, corporate culture is super toxic. Like someone was saying when they go in Vogue offices, how dead silent it is. Like when I worked at Flaunt magazine for like a week, like when I tell you these people had me faced to a brick wall, like working and researching what they call blurbs or whatever. And it was like, you had to like come up with different topics and a synopsis of what was going on in the media. And it was just like, can I talk to my neighbor or not? It was giving like dead silent. Even when they had editorial meetings, I thought it was going to be the dream. No, these people are like really like in a corporate like attitude. Oh, and like my boss, she like sat directly behind me. This bitch would like email me like something so lame when she was sitting like directly behind me. Like, is that not passive aggressive? And then, first of all, she wasn't even officially on the team. This woman was an intern and she was like 32. I kid you not. This woman, but I was inspired though because I'm like, dang, imagine shifting your focus at that age. But so you run into like so many people who have so many different type of hustles, and it's not like a clear-cut formula to like attaining a fashion career. Everyone is taking their own route. It's like music, entertainment. So it's not like being an accountant or like working in marketing per se, because it's so easy to really build, not marketing, I'll take that back. I'm gonna say something more structural. You can like read it, then learn it. Art is interpretation. So whoever likes it is gonna like it regardless if you like it, don't like it. So you're dealing with so many egos and so many like, you know, personalities and personas and facades. People like Andrew Cunanan and people like, you know, what's all the mess with Pierre Moss? Like, you know, making bad money decisions. Like, you have so many different people that are combined in this group and category that are really trying to coexist. So I think that's like where a lot of that like hierarchy comes from. Power was something I was trying to get back to. I feel like everyone doesn't want really much to do with you unless you can do something for them. They're trying to get that third party brand recognition. Oh, so-and-so hangs out with so-and-so. So-and-so works for so-and-so. Like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's honestly, you know, my friends who are like editors and stuff, I think that they're thriving the most, but I feel like, you know, for the most part, the reason those people are mean is because they've put in the actual work, like the actual work. Then you have like your editors in chief and your, let's see, like your creative directors, like, oh yeah. You know, that's why I kind of liked Virgil though, because I feel like he had all these different jobs. He was like a DJ, architect. He was like a photographer, like a designer. Like he wore all these many different hats. But like he still would be on the scene chilling. Like I will never forget, I tagged Off-White Virgil in one of my posts and he came and liked my post. Like this man is like, you know how busy this man, you know how busy this man is? So, even leading up to his death, rest in peace, Virgil, like for real. I feel like they gave you so much hate, but it's like, you gotta give credit where credit is due, like the hustle unmatched. So I think it's rare that those people are amongst the fashion creative industry though. Like majority is like people like, who could I use as a good example? The thing is, I've been out at industry events and I'm like so fucking friendly that like, it's always will be like, oh shit, it's not give and speak. Like I saw this one guy, he works at like Telfart, is it? No, he used to work for Hood by Air. And I saw him at a party and it's like, he was just like, where the fuck, like who the fuck are you? And he might have not even been paying attention to me, but I feel like you know energy. But he didn't even know. Like I was like a silent fan of his work or whatever. See, I think that's when the thing is when Instagram first started versus like now everyone is like in their Kylie Jenner era. And when we first started, it kind of was just like everyone's posting like just great things. So you could really get a response from an email or a DM or if you comment on someone's picture. Now there's so many gateways into like connecting with someone. So anytime you go on a creative page, either they have like their agency and they'll be totally blank because it's like they don't want you to know who they are. So it's like if you know type of thing. Kind of like how Zach Bia started off. Like it was like, who is Zach Bia? Like it's building that anticipation. Everybody wants to have some type of fucking curiosity. Like, come on. But it doesn't really stem back to why people are so mean. Okay, so ChatGPT also said that gatekeeping and selective hiring, definitely that is a big part into like why when you go into the Versace store versus when you go into a Neiman's. Like the ego is bigger because you're working at the brand versus selling the brand. But it's like, bitch, you're not making any money. I've worked retail. Like you make good money if you're like a super seller, But like, if you're like not a manager, I mean, it's not the type of money that I'm trying to make to be giving someone attitude when they walk in the store. Like, I used to be so good at retail that I would sell with my eyes closed because I'm really a people's person. Like, like, I'm not trying to sell you something. I feel like the energy in these stores are so money hungry. It's like, oh, what if I was just coming in to look? What if I was just getting out the house and having some retail therapy? Retail therapy is not only about shopping. I wish y'all would drop that shit. Like, sometimes you just want to go to the store and like just be at the store. You know? Am I tripping? Like, it's like going to the mall when you're a teenager. Like I went to Dallas last weekend. Like, I went to Margiela. I went to Loewe. I went to Louis Vuitton. I went to Zara. And I didn't get anything. And when I went to Versace, like, it was like the guy was like so up my ass. Like, he was like, yeah, this is the new Dua Lipa No, I said, oh, this is the new Dua Lipa collection. And I was like, it's crazy because this stuff is iconic. So like years from now, it'll be like an archive piece. He was like, oh, well, we don't keep anything in store for over 6 months. We get a new collection every 6 months. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, duh, why would you keep the same collection? It was like his ego was like outweighing me being a customer and me thinking that I'm not buying something, that he's trying to like outsmart me. And I'm thinking in my head like, nigga, like I know so much about fashion. Like the first thing I would know is literally there's seasons. Like, come on. He was like, yeah, so, you know, within 6 months, we'll have a new fresh collection in here. We don't keep anything for years. I was like, oh. Okay, you got it. But that attitude and that energy is so draining. And I would say, you know, expanding to other industries, you know, personally right now, and then, well, no, entertainment, image is everything. Image is everything. And like, especially if you're on the forefront, I think if you're behind the scenes, and you just like are a socialite or are you a, you know, like PR specialist, anything of that nature, like, you know, a lot of those people, like, they treat those corporate positions like how they would in any other industry. So they're not really focused on those things. But also, I think that they're working so much equivalent to like someone who's being a doctor and not getting paid. So that's where the attitude comes in again. Because you don't know how many PR agencies I've worked at, and it's just like, why is everyone so uptight? It's that background within copyright and fact checking. That's what it is. So we got competitive environment, high standards and expectations, influence of the media and popularity. It says explore the spotlight on designers, models, and other industry professionals. You have some girls who really get to the bag that are not nice girls. They're mean girls. So it says fashion as an artistic expression. Highlight the artistic nature of fashion design, which comes from a really core place. It definitely stems from a personal, you know, situation. And it also says explain how clashes of artistic opinions and visions can sometimes result in tension and perceived meanness. Thank you, ChatGPT. Okay, so where I can testify to this is I'm very well versed within fashion, but like you will meet those people who are so analytical and diabolical and psychological and all of those things. They'll use all these different words and pronouns and things to describe a backstory of a brand or inspiration or a deep dive. And it's like, you saying all that to say what? That it was pretty? So you have the people who come from that book smart type of energy, and they apply that to industry that is really based solely based within interpretation, and it's at ease. Like, art should make you feel some type of way. It's an experience. So you have those really serious people, and then you have the people who really just have a great keen eye for detail, and they really just know how to put things together. They really can spot things years in advance. They really have a clear vision of creativity. Not that Virgil, what is it, like 3% drop rule? It's like, that's why he probably got a lot of hate, because it's more than clear where his inspiration comes from. But, you know, a real creative honestly pulls from such authentic, like, sources that, like, they will never have to, like, worry about getting on the internet and saying, like, oh, somebody copied my idea. Because where they pulled from, 9 times out of 10, that vision won't come to someone unless, you know, it can happen. We're all on the same world. We all have the same access to, you know, literature and art. So it's like, I wouldn't be that surprised. But when you pull from a really authentic place, it's very rare that someone will come across and steal your idea. So I don't even know how I got on this, but yeah, I think that a combination of all those things is really why people in fashion are just kind of like dickheads. I've always tried to go against that and be super duper outgoing and optimistic. But I think that people who are mean and really stand in what they want get further in life. Nobody has ever gotten anywhere without being uncomfortable. And, you know, I think you really have to, like, realize that people are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. And that's cliche to say, but really think that way. But I think in fashion, it's a little bit more intense, because we're all, like, perceiving one another. We're all judging one another. We're all competing with one another. So you feel that energy. So, you know, the next idea is really what people are looking to. We're creatives at heart. So I hope I was able to kind of, like, piggyback on that video that I showed. And I want to know your thoughts. Like, what are your experiences within the fashion industry? Like, I have one more time. Like, I will never forget the one time that I was, this is when I was pursuing styling. I took a 4-hour bus ride to take back this dress from one of my clients, who I'm actually mutuals with on TikTok. And I wanted to build that relationship, because that's what you're taught as becoming an industry professional, is that relationships are key. So I got all the way to New York after being in class till 3 o'clock. I got to New York like 8 o'clock. I rushed over to the showroom. I forgot the brand, I'm sorry. But I got there and everyone in the office was just like, can I help you? I was like, hi, I just wanted to return this dress. I was emailing you earlier. She was like, okay, you can put it down and just sign right here. And I was like, oh, damn. I'm like, okay, thank you. So as I walk out, there's like some bitch looking from her desk, like, I was like, damn, why is everybody so miserable? Like, what the fuck? Anyways, tell me, like, your moments where you just knew, like, okay, either I'm gonna have to push forward or I'm gonna have to turn into a mean girl. Now go in the comments. Now, subscribe today. You won't regret it. I'm out. Scaling Trace.